The vacuum-sealed airlock hissed open, releasing a burst of pressurized atmosphere as Hannah Kim adjusted her deep-sea research suit. Novus 9's twin moons cast an eerie blue-green glow across the liquid surface, transforming the alien ocean into a shimmering canvas of mysterious potential. Her research vessel, the Nautilus 7, hummed softly behind her, a sleek titanium composite spacecraft designed specifically for extreme planetary exploration. Advanced sensor arrays bristled along its exterior, each one scanning the unknown waters with precision that would make Earth's most advanced marine research platforms look like children's toys. "Environmental scan initiating," Hannah muttered, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface embedded in her suit's forearm. Years of training at the Incheon Interstellar Research Academy had prepared her for moments like these, first contact scenarios where every movement, every breath could mean the difference between scientific breakthrough and total disaster. The submersible pod detached from the Nautilus 7 with mechanical precision, its transparent graphene hull allowing a crystal-clear view of the alien ocean. Bioluminescent microorganisms swirled around her, creating intricate light patterns that seemed to pulse, with an intelligence far beyond simple marine biology. Something moved in the depths, not just a random current or a school of alien fish. This was different. A shadow larger than her entire submersible pod glided beneath the translucent waters, its movement too deliberate to be accidental. Hannah's heart raced, but her hands remained steady. Years of scientific training had taught her control. Excitement, yes, fear, never. The ship's quantum communication system crackled. Her research partner Ji-hoon, voice tinged with concern from the main vessel. "Hannah, our sensors are picking up some seriously weird energy signatures. Recommend immediate return protocol." She ignored him. The shadow transformed. What initially appeared as a massive marine creature began reshaping, its molecular structure seemingly fluid, adaptable. Tentacle-like appendages extended, then contracted. Crystalline structures emerged, then dissolved, reconstructing themselves with mathematical precision. "This is incredible," Hannah whispered, her breath fogging the inner helmet momentarily. "Sophisticated." Tracking lasers from her suit mapped the creature's bizarre movements. Each scan revealed layers of complexity that challenged everything humanity understood about alien biology. This wasn't just an organism. It was a living, thinking ecosystem contained within a single entity. Suddenly, a pulse of energy erupted. From the creature, not aggressive, not threatening, but communicative. Complex frequency patterns bombarded her suit's communication systems, mathematical sequences, harmonic resonances. Something was trying to communicate, using a language far more sophisticated than human verbal or written communication. The submersible's temperature dropped 5 degrees in milliseconds. External sensors went crazy, recording data points that would take decades to fully analyze. Quantum entanglement markers suggested the creature wasn't just alive. It was potentially sentient, on a level humans had only theorized about. One of her backup drone cameras captured something extraordinary. The creature was actually mimicking the submersible's external shape, creating a perfect molecular replica that shifted and changed with each passing second. Adaptive, intelligent, alive. "Ji-hoon," Hannah called, her voice steady despite the groundbreaking moment. "Are you seeing this?" Silence. The communication systems had gone completely dark, but the creature remained, watching, waiting. In that moment, Hannah realized she wasn't just conducting a routine marine research expedition. She was witnessing first contact with an intelligence that could redefine humanity's understanding of life itself. The alien ocean around her pulsed with anticipation. Something was about to change forever. End of part 1. The creature's molecular structure began to pulse with an intense rhythmic energy. Hannah watched in awe as intricate bioluminescent patterns danced across its surface, creating a mesmerizing display of communication that transcended traditional understanding. Suddenly, microscopic tendrils of biomatter extended from the creature, reaching toward the submersible's exterior. These weren't aggressive movements. They were exploratory, almost curious. Advanced nanosensors in Hannah's research suit began recording every millisecond of the interaction. A quantum resonance field erupted, enveloping the submersible in a web of electromagnetic energy. The pod's systems flickered, not from damage, but from an intense information transfer that defied conventional scientific explanation. Hana felt a strange tingling sensation, as if her very molecular structure was being scanned, analyzed, understood. "Ji-hun," she whispered, "something extraordinary is happening." But communication with the surface vessel had completely ceased. She was alone, suspended in an alien ocean that was rapidly becoming more than just a body of water. It was a living, thinking ecosystem that seemed intensely interested in her presence. The creature's biomatter began to reshape, forming complex geometric patterns that matched the quantum signatures of Hana's genetic code. It was as if the alien organism was creating a molecular map of her entire biological existence. Warning systems in her suit went into overdrive. Genetic markers were being accessed, studied, potentially manipulated, but there was no sense of threat, only an overwhelming feeling of curiosity and connection. A holographic interface erupted around her, filled with complex mathematical sequences and biological diagrams that would take decades to fully comprehend. The creature was communicating, not through words, but through pure information transfer. Suddenly, her suit's medical monitoring system detected unusual changes. Cellular regeneration, rates were accelerating, dormant genetic sequences were being activated. Something was fundamentally altering her biological makeup at the most basic level. The alien ocean around her began to pulse with a rhythmic energy that matched her own heartbeat. Bioluminescent creatures swirled in complex patterns, creating a living, breathing ecosystem that seemed to respond to her very presence. A series of quantum entanglement markers suggested something even more incredible. The creature wasn't just studying her, it was attempting to establish a symbiotic connection. Genetic material was being exchanged, modified, integrated in ways that defied everything humanity understood about biological interaction. Hana's training kicked in. She remained calm, observing, documenting every incredible moment. Years of scientific preparation had taught her to maintain composure in the most extraordinary circumstances. The submersible's exterior began to transform. Microscopic bioorganic structures emerged, creating a seamless interface between the human technology and the alien ecosystem. It was as if the vessel itself was becoming a living organism, adapting and changing with each passing moment. Warning: systems blared. Genetic reconstruction was occurring at an unprecedented rate, but Hana felt no fear, only an overwhelming sense of connection, of understanding something far beyond human comprehension. Memories began to flood her consciousness. Not her own memories, but something else. Fragments of experiences from the alien creature, glimpses of distant planetary systems, complex ecosystems that existed beyond human imagination. The quantum communication system suddenly erupted with a burst of information. Mathematical sequences that represented entire civilizations, genetic memories of evolutionary processes that spanned millions of years. Hana realized she was experiencing something unprecedented in human history. First contact wasn't just about communication, it was about fundamental transformation. The alien ocean continued to pulse. The creature continued its intricate dance of molecular reconstruction, and Hana Kim stood at the center of a moment that would forever change humanity's understanding of life itself. Something extraordinary was happening, and she was right in the middle of it. End of Part 2. The transformation began slowly, almost imperceptibly at first. Hana's body started to shimmer, her skin taking on a subtle iridescent quality that reflected the alien ocean's bioluminescent environment. Her molecular structure was no longer purely human, it was becoming something entirely new. Advanced nanosensors in her research suit went haywire, unable to categorize the biological changes occurring. Cellular regeneration accelerated beyond anything medical science had ever documented. Dormant genetic sequences, evolutionary remnants that had been silent for millennia, suddenly burst into active configuration. Her vision changed first. Colors became more intricate, depth perception expanded. She could now see quantum energy fields, molecular interactions that were previously invisible to human perception. The alien ocean transformed from a simple body of water into a complex living network of information and energy. The submersible's interior began to adapt, its metallic surfaces morphing into bioorganic structures that seemed to breathe and pulse with a living intelligence. Technological systems merged with biological mechanisms, creating a hybrid environment that defied traditional understanding of technology and life. Memories flooded her consciousness, not just her own, but fragments of experiences from the alien creature, vast planetary systems, evolutionary processes spanning millions of years, complex civilizations that existed beyond human comprehension. Her body was changing at a genetic level. Microscopic adaptations emerged, enhanced respiratory capabilities, improved cellular regeneration, neural pathways that expanded her cognitive potential exponentially. She was becoming something more than human, yet still fundamentally connected to her original genetic structure. The quantum communication system erupted with a burst of information, mathematical sequences that represented entire civilizations, genetic memories of evolutionary processes that challenged everything humanity understood about biological development. Outside the submersible, the alien ocean responded to her transformation. Bioluminescent creatures swirled in complex patterns, creating a living, breathing ecosystem that seemed to recognize and welcome the changes happening to Hana. Her research partner's voice crackled through a barely functional communication channel. "Hana, status report? Your biosignatures are impossible." She couldn't respond in traditional human language. Instead, a burst of quantum-encoded information transmitted from her transformed neural pathways, complex mathematical sequences, evolutionary insights, a communication method far beyond verbal or written language, muscular structures enhanced, skeletal density increased, neurological connections expanded, creating a sensory experience that transcended human limitations. She was becoming a bridge between human biology and an alien ecosystem that defied traditional scientific understanding. The submersible's exterior continued to transform. Microscopic bioorganic structures emerged, creating a seamless interface between human technology and the alien environment. It was no longer just a research vessel, it was a living, adaptive organism. Hana's consciousness expanded. She could feel the molecular interactions of the entire alien ocean, every microscopic organism, every quantum energy field, a level of perception that would drive a traditional human mind to complete sensory overload. Warning systems continued to blare. Genetic reconstruction was occurring at an unprecedented rate. But Hana felt no fear, only an overwhelming sense of connection, of understanding something far beyond human comprehension. The transformation wasn't just physical. Her entire perception of reality was shifting. Concepts of time, space, biological limitations, all were being rewritten at a fundamental level. She was becoming something new, something that bridged the gap between human potential and alien intelligence. A living example of evolutionary possibility. The alien ocean pulsed with anticipation. The creature that had initiated this transformation watched with what could only be described as scientific curiosity. Hana Kim was no longer just a researcher. She was a living experiment, a bridge between species, a moment of first contact that would forever change humanity's understanding of life itself. End of Part 3. The first transmission from Earth arrived like a quantum thunderbolt. Interstellar communication arrays lit up with unprecedented urgency, broadcasting encrypted signals that carried undertones of pure panic. Global defense councils from multiple continents were scrambling. Hana's unexpected transformation wasn't just a scientific anomaly. It was a potential planetary security breach that threatened established galactic political structures. Advanced surveillance drones surrounded the Nautilus 7, their quantum-encrypted tracking systems attempting to monitor every microscopic change in Hana's biological structure. Military-grade quantum computers worked overtime, analyzing millions of potential scenarios about her transformation. Containment. Protocol activated, a mechanical voice announced through encrypted channels. Subject requires immediate quarantine and comprehensive biological assessment. But the alien ocean had other plans. Quantum energy fields began destabilizing traditional communication networks. Military tracking systems went dark, replaced by complex mathematical sequences that defied traditional computational understanding. The very fabric of human technological infrastructure was being systematically disrupted. Hana's transformed consciousness understood something profound. This wasn't just a biological transformation, it was a systematic challenge to humanity's established understanding of interstellar politics and technological limitations. Orbital defense platforms began experiencing simultaneous system failures. Quantum communication relays collapsed. Entire military tracking networks became compromised within milliseconds, revealing vulnerabilities that had existed undetected for generations. The alien creature that had initiated her transformation watched with what seemed like calculated precision. Each disruption was methodical, surgical, targeting specific technological and political infrastructure points with mathematical accuracy. Global leaders watched in real time as their most advanced technological systems became compromised. Military commanders witnessed unprecedented system failures that challenged everything they understood about technological security. "We're losing control," a high-ranking military official muttered, watching quantum tracking systems collapse. Across multiple continental defense networks, Hana's transformed consciousness began transmitting information, not as a traditional communication, but as complex quantum energy sequences that carried evolutionary insights, technological vulnerabilities, and fundamental challenges to existing political structures. The transformation was revealing something more significant than a simple biological mutation. It was exposing fundamental weaknesses in humanity's technological and political infrastructure. Interstellar communication networks began experiencing unprecedented quantum resonance disruptions. Traditional hierarchical power structures found themselves systematically challenged by information transfers that defied conventional understanding. Military satellites went dark. Quantum communication arrays collapsed. Defense systems experienced comprehensive system failures that revealed generations of technological complacency. The alien ocean pulsed with an energy that suggested deliberate, calculated intervention. This wasn't random destruction, it was a systematic deconstruction of human technological limitations. Hana had become something more than a researcher. She was a living transmission of evolutionary potential, challenging established political and technological paradigms with every quantum pulse of her transformed biological structure. Global defense councils watched in stunned silence as their most advanced technological systems were systematically dismantled, revealing vulnerabilities that had existed undetected for generations. The transformation wasn't just biological. It was a fundamental challenge to humanity's understanding of technological and political potential, and it was just beginning. End of Part 4. The final stage of transformation erupted like a quantum supernova. Hana's molecular structure had become something entirely unprecedented, a living bridge between human potential and alien evolutionary capability. Interstellar communication networks collapsed as her transformed consciousness began transmitting information that defied traditional understanding. Complex quantum sequences revealed technological pathways humanity had never imagined possible. Global research centers watched in stunned silence. What had started as a routine marine expedition had transformed into the most significant evolutionary event in human history. The alien ocean surrounding her submersible began to pulse with intelligent energy. Bioluminescent creatures swirled in complex patterns, creating living mathematical equations that represented entire civilizations' evolutionary potential. Quantum energy fields expanded, revealing hidden dimensional layers that existed just beyond human perception. Technological infrastructures worldwide experienced simultaneous transformative events. Military systems, communication networks, scientific research platforms, all began experiencing fundamental restructuring. "Something extraordinary is happening," whispered Dr. Ji Hun from the primary research vessel, watching holographic displays that showed unprecedented biological and technological mutations. Hana's transformed consciousness wasn't just observing, it was actively restructuring existing evolutionary limitations. Dormant genetic sequences across human populations began experiencing subtle activations. A global evolutionary trigger had been initiated. Advanced quantum computers struggled to process the incoming information. Mathematical sequences that represented entire civilizational development cycles flooded global research networks. Each transmission carried insights that would take generations to fully comprehend. The alien creature that had initiated her transformation watched with what seemed like calculated scientific curiosity. This wasn't random mutation. It was a deliberate, evolutionary intervention. Orbital research platforms detected extraordinary quantum resonance waves spreading across planetary systems. Something fundamental was changing in the very fabric of biological and technological understanding. Military defense systems experienced comprehensive restructuring. Quantum communication arrays transformed, revealing technological capabilities that had existed dormant within human potential for millennia. Hana had become more than a researcher. She was a living transmission of evolutionary potential, a bridge between human limitation and cosmic possibility. Global leadership councils watched in stunned fascination. Traditional political structures began experiencing fundamental challenges. The very concept of governmental control was being systematically reimagined through quantum information transfers. The alien ocean continued its intricate dance of molecular reconstruction. Bioluminescent energy patterns created living mathematical equations that represented complex evolutionary potential. Research vessels surrounding the Nautilus 7 experienced extraordinary transformations. Technological systems merged with biological mechanisms, creating hybrid infrastructures that defied traditional scientific understanding. Quantum energy fields expanded exponentially. Hana's transformed consciousness transmitted information that challenged everything humanity understood about biological and technological potential. "We're witnessing something unprecedented," Dr. Ji Hun reported, his voice trembling with a mixture of scientific excitement and profound existential recognition. The transformation wasn't just biological, it represented a fundamental restructuring of human evolutionary potential. Every transmission carried insights that would take generations to fully comprehend. Orbital tracking systems detected extraordinary quantum resonance waves spreading across multiple planetary systems. Something fundamental was changing in the very fabric of biological understanding. Hana had become a living bridge between human potential and cosmic evolutionary capability. Each quantum pulse carried mathematical sequences that represented entire civilizational development cycles. The alien ocean pulsed with anticipation. The creature that had initiated this transformation watched with what could only be described as calculated scientific curiosity. Humanity stood at the precipice of its most significant evolutionary moment, a transformation that would redefine everything known about biological potential, technological capability, and cosmic understanding. And it was just the beginning. End of Part 5.